thought I'd sort of get into the spirit of the evening with these. Well, welcome to Sneaks. We have a little bit of chaos backstage. We have a sneak that we've had to cancel at the last minute, so I apologize for that. It was all about how to make the Acrobat upgrade messages come even more frequently. So really, seriously, welcome to Sneaks. For those of you who've been to Max before, you know what this night is all about. But for those of you who are new, you're in for a special night. The rest of this show, you've seen our vice presidents, our marketers, our executives, our partners. This is the night that the engineers come out to play. We've gone through the company and found the 11 coolest demos of technology that's at work within Adobe. These are things that are on the cutting edge of the technology. They may show up in a product, they may not. The demo may work, it may not. But this is your chance to sort of get closer and really understand where we're going and what we're doing. But you didn't come here to hear me talk about this. You came to see the Sneaks, and of course you came to see our very special guest host. So without further ado, let's bring back out and give a big Adobe welcome to Mr. Rainn Wilson.
How's it going, Greg?
Good to meet you.
Nice to see you. Hi, everybody.
Well, thanks for coming.
My pleasure.
So, I mean, obviously, people in the audience here are big fans of yours.
Like these chairs.
Like one in my office.
Getting creative.
You feeling it? You feeling the creative vibe?
I am.
Good. So I have to ask, I mean, here in the audience here, clap if you've ever worked with a Dwight.
So everyone has.
So, but I gotta ask, did you ever work with a Dwight?
I played D&D with the Dwights. That beats working with the Dwights.
Yeah, you worked it.
I played D&D. Maybe he's here tonight. Chris
Anybody
Cole
here play
is his
D&D
name.
with Rainn? Anybody want to?
Yeah, I got a regular Thursday night game if anyone wants to join on. But he had Dwight glasses, and they literally had, and this is no joke, this was like 1978, 79. He had Dwight glasses, and they said Battlestar Galactica on the side of the glasses. I am not making that up. I swear to God that he did. And he loved fencing, and he joined the army as a cornet player. So it's pretty Dwightish. And he always had his D&D characters were warriors, like giant, and he would draw pictures of these rippling muscles. He was so skinny. The guy was like 92 pounds. These rippling, muscled Schwarzenegger like Conan warriors.
Well, it's funny you brought up science fiction because everybody knows The Office, but I'm actually a fan of one of your lesser-known science fiction works. How many people here have seen Galaxy Quest?
Sure, my first movie. My very first movie.
Really?
Yep.
One of my favorite movies, and so I put a post on Twitter on whether or not I should bring that up or not, and the best response one says, "By Grabthar's hammer." That's a good one.
By Grabthar's hammer.
Exactly. Yeah. Well, let's go ahead and get started. So we have a number of sneaks we're going to show you. As I said, we're going to show a bunch of different technologies. The first one we want to bring out is Jim McCann, who's going to show us some very interesting things about editing images. So, Jim?
Cool. All right. Ladies and gentlemen, the Fleet Foxes. All right.
Well, all right. I'm going to start this out with a very...
Where'd they put the microphone?
What's that?
I don't see your microphone. Is it buried in there somewhere?
Yeah, it's one of these strands.
Yeah.
Somewhere.
Okay.
Yeah. Right. Fine. So I'm going to talk about how to stack up layers in an interesting...
I'm going to talk about The Big Lebowski. One of my favorite movies. Sorry, go ahead, do your thing. Sorry, I'll shut up.
There's like one heckler in the audience. They're sitting right in the front. So I'm going to talk about how to stack up layers, and I bet you're all familiar familiar with how you could stack up these two layers, this sun and this flower, in sort of various programs. This is just a sampling of 7 programs. You have 7 programs to choose from to stack up these layers, but you can really only stack them up 2 ways. You put the sun over the flower, flower over the sun. You know, just not very many choices. But what about, what could we do in the real world? So let's go over to my little camera here. Sweet. And I'm going to show you a bold new way to stack up these 2 layers, this sun and this flower. So of course I can put the sun over the flower. Of course, put the flower, oh my gosh, the real world's hard to manipulate, over the sun. I mean, there's a reason we do this on computers. But here's the cool thing about the real world, and that's that I can take pieces of the sun and just kind of, whoa, put them over the flower there, maybe loop this little bit of band of the sun over the flower there. I can even sneak this sun ray right through the center of the flower. Oh my gosh, this is tricky. Whew, it didn't crash. Okay. Wow, good. So I can create this really cool kind of stacking in the real world, but I couldn't do that on the computer. Well, let's go back to the computer and see what I can do. So here we've got, well, that sun layer and that flower layer. We've got sort of a layers dialog over on the side. But this layers dialog is special. I've added a little bit of something extra to this layers dialog. What I've added is an arrow. It's a nice looking arrow too. But what's cool is that I can now do restacking just where that arrow points. So right where that arrow points, I can put the sun over the flower. Oh. Just like in the real world. Wow. Over here, I can put the sun over the flower again. I can adjust that little band. No paper cuts this time. It works a lot better. Now, I can do this with more layers. That's fine as well. Here I've got 4 layers, and I can just start interleaving things however I want to, make things even more interesting and woven, kind of bring some mystery into the composition. What's going on there? Maybe you don't like the layers dialog. Well, in that case, you could just drag your layers around. This is 4 layers. You can drag them around, and every time you drag a layer over another layer, it'll just go on top. So it's very easy to create kind of woven compositions like that. Or you can go around the other way and kind of reverse the direction of the weave. No problem. Of course, what happens when you drag one layer into another? Well, it just runs into it, as you'd expect. Just sticks. Of course, we don't have to limit ourselves to still images. We could maybe get an animation. I'm not a great animator, so this is what I could whip up. But you can use this on more general, interesting animations as well. So here I have this ball, and there's these pillars. And sort of the ball's going left and right. So what if we just stop the animation and we can do a stack, a reordering, a stacking operation here. Let the animation run. Maybe some other time we'll do a stacking operation. And the cool thing is these stacking operations are temporally and spatially local. So now the ball is figurating around the pillars. All I had to do was 2 little stacking manipulators. I didn't have to paint any masks. I didn't have to do anything complicated like that. Okay. So let me show you one more thing. This is a little bit out of left field, but we can do this with 3D models as well. So here's a 3D model. This is kind of a bar and a cage thing. We can make this more interesting by doing a little bit of local depth restacking. We're going to say, oh, put the bar over the cage there. Put the cage over the bar here in the center. Over on the left side, put the bar over the cage. No problem. We get a cool little illusion like that. Thanks for realizing I was waiting for you to applaud. And now I'm just going to rotate this cage here just to show you a little bit of this mind-bending kind of result you get. All right, well, that's what I've got, folks.